moving on to a very special address. Ladies and gentlemen, this is by the Chairman of 16th Finance Commission of India. Let's put our hands together as I invite onto the dais Professor Arvind Panagadia.
Honorable former President of India, Sri Ramnath Kovindji, Honorable Harvinsh Rai Narayan Singh ji, Honorable P. Tyagaraja, Professor Bhagwati, N.K. Singh, and Vijay Kelkar. Today it seems that we have a conspiracy of finance commissions. But I want to speak a little bit about the three honorees. And it is really a rare opportunity to felicitate not one, not two, but as many as three most distinguished and accomplished friends and mentors. My pleasure is all the more because if I had to draw a short list of luminaries I most admire, they would all be on it. And without doubt, Jagdish Bhagwati would be at the top of that list. Jagdish is arguably the most prolific international trade economist of his generation. The great economist Paul Samuelson, who was also the first Nobel laureate from the United States in economics, has described Jagdish's era as the age of Bhagwati in international trade. Paul Krugman, winner of the 2008 Nobel Prize in Economics for his work on new trade theory, has said that had he been on the Nobel Committee that year, he would have awarded the prize first to his teacher, Jagdish Bhagwati, for his really insightful work on old trade theory. A polymath, Jagdish has made seminal contributions to diverse fields, including immigration, climate change, development, and political philosophy. His fulsome support to students has made him a beloved people's professor and earned him 6 Feshrifts from them as a mark of their affection. As economic policy advisor to Arthur Dunkel, Jagdish guided the design of the World Trade Organization, while his insightful policy writings on India greatly influenced nearly all policymakers who have contributed to changing the economy's course from socialist to market orientation, beginning with Dr. Manmohan Singh and including our other 2 honorees today. Jagdish did his bachelor's in commerce from Sydenham College in Bombay in 1954 and immediately proceeded to do the tripos at St. John's College, Cambridge University. He then did his stints as visiting scholars at MIT and Nuffield College. In the 1960s, he was back in India, spending 2 years at the ISI and 4 at the Delhi School of Economics, where, of course, he was NK's teacher. In 1966, Jagdish moved to the United States again, where he spent a year at Columbia and then 13 years at MIT. In 1980, he returned to Columbia, where he remains, and is a university professor with appointments in not 1, not 2, but 3 different units in economics, in law, and in international and public affairs. During a career spanning almost 65 years, he has written articles in all leading scholars' journals, scholarly journals in economics, and published books too numerous to count, shaped media debates on the leading economic policy issues of the day, founded and edited leading economics journals, and advised a highly distinguished group of students who went on to become leading scholars of international trade in their own right. Jagdish has been conferred a number of honorary degrees, the latest of which was by Johns Hopkins University. He is a fellow of the Econometric Society and a member of the Economic Academy of Arts and Sciences and the American Philosophical Society. Jagdish writes with wit, often to the great disadvantage of his opponents. Despite the limited time I have, I cannot resist giving at least one example of it. In 1987, George Soros, the billionaire, wrote a book titled Alchemy of Finance, which Jagdish reviewed in the New Republic. So Jagdish began by telling the reader, and I quote, "Now that Soros has made his fortune, he is eager to tell all. But his aspirations as a writer soar above a simple narrative of his financial dealings. He wishes to develop a theory that would embrace equally his mundane financial activities and grander themes such as the reform of the international economic system. Success on Wall Street has given Soros the sang-froid and wealth, the wherewithal to pursue his dream." And now comes the punchline. It says, "Alas, it prompts the question, money talks, but can it write?" Several prizes are named after Jagdish, and most importantly, the chair that I hold at Columbia University is called the Jagdish Bhagwati Chair in Indian Political Economy. So as a result, at Columbia, we have a Bhagwati professor and Professor Bhagwati, which sometimes causes quite a bit of confusion. Finally, Jagdish has been awarded the Padma Vibhushan by the Government of India and the Order of the Rising Sun Gold and Silver Star by the Government of Japan. In common with Jagdish, our second honoree, Dr. Vijay Kelkar, is also a Padma Vibhushan awardee. But unlike Jagdish, after an approximately decade-long academic career in the 1970s, Vijay went on to distinguish himself as a highly successful policy maker and policy analyst. Vijay's first degree was in engineering from the College of Engineering in Pune, and the last one a PhD in economics from the University of California at Berkeley. After returning to India in 1970, he taught economics at institutions such as the Administrative Staff College, Hyderabad, South Asia Institute, Heidelberg University in Germany, and the University of California, Berkeley. By the early 1980s, Vijay had joined the Government of India, where he quickly distinguished himself for his zeal for economic liberalization. He was among the very early reformist economists. Actually, I have a book coming out for which I read a lot to find out, who the early reformers were within the government, and clearly Vijay stands out. As early as 1986, he successfully deregulated the prices of a large number of drugs, which eventually proved pivotal to the growth of the Indian pharmaceutical industry. Vijay later went on to serve as India's Finance Secretary, Executive Director at the International Monetary Fund, Economic Advisor to Finance Minister Jaswant Singh, and the Chair of the 13th Finance Commission. He also headed numerous important committees which helped bring about material changes to policies and workings of the government. In particular, as a fiscal conservative, he played a pivotal role in the enactment of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. He was clearly one of the earliest I heard talking about, a law that would rein in the fiscal deficits. He also piloted the influential task force on direct and indirect taxes. His report on indirect taxes eventually culminated in the mega reform that replaced myriad indirect taxes levied on the center and states with a single goods and services tax. While bringing important policy changes, Vijay also wrote professional articles in journals and books. Recently, in 2020, he co-authored the highly acclaimed book, In Service of the Republic, The Art and Science of Economic Policy. This is a meticulously researched and highly readable work that stands at the intersection of economics, political philosophy, and public administration. Now, while Vijay shares the Padma Vibhushan bestowed by the Government of India with Jagdish, Mr. N.K. Singh shares the honor of Rising Sun Gold and Silver Star awarded by the Government of Japan. A bright student throughout, N.K. completed his master's at the Delhi School of Economics, where, as I said, he was taught by both Jagdish and Padma, and he was immediately appointed to the faculty of St. Stephen's College. While teaching, he took the civil service examination and at the young age of 23 became the IAS officer in 1964. After his initial appointment in the district of Danpur in Bihar, He was appointed as Undersecretary in the Ministry of Commerce in the Government of India in 1969. From there, NK went on to launch one of the most successful careers in civil service, culminating in appointments as secretary in all three big departments in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Affairs from 93 to 95, expenditure from 95 to 96, and revenue 96 to 98. The icing on the cake was his final bureaucratic appointment as Secretary to Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, where, of course, NK played a critical role in the numerous reforms that the Vajpayee government implemented following the reforms of Prime Minister Narasimha Rao and the then Finance Minister Manmohan Singh. In between, NK had a highly successful stint as Economics and Commerce Minister in the Indian Embassy in Japan. In that role, he had helped bring to fruition the Maruti Suzuki collaboration. The Japanese embraced NK with open arms, conferring on him in 2016 one of their highest honors, the Order of the Rising Sun, Gold and Silver Star. During the 1990s and early 2000s, the era of critical economic reforms, NK put his skills in diplomacy, economics, and administration to the fullest use. Without his initiative, the simplification of personal income taxation with low rates of 10, 20, and 30% in the celebrated dream budget would have remained a pipe dream. Later, he helped Vajpayee navigate many reforms and major infrastructure projects such as the Golden Quadrilateral project. After demitting office as Secretary to the PM, NK went on to serve as a member of the Planning Commission, member of the Rajya Sabha, chair of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Committee, and then chair of the 15th Finance Commission. For nearly 2 decades, he actively promoted and participated in the annual conferences on Indian economic reforms at Stanford University and was a constant presence and still is a presence at Davos. Finally, NK is a skillful photographer. He has an ear for classical Indian music and practices homeopathy. So anybody needing any help, I'm sure he'll oblige free of charge. NK is also a major presence on the Delhi social circuit, and the list of his friends is absolutely endless. In conclusion, the TIOL is fortunate to be able to find 3 such illustrious personalities, and I am fortunate to have had the opportunity to speak on their incomparable achievements. Thank you.